month, you could win the money, only from Local 3.
Sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
We are always glad when Dr. Tiffany Ahlberg is here with Ahlberg Audiology. So good to see you this morning.
Good to see you too.
February, as it turns out, has a designated month of Tinnitus Awareness Month.
Yes.
A lot of people struggle with this, Tiffany, right?
Yes, 15 to 20% of the population have some form of tinnitus, and tinnitus being some sound that you hear that's really not there. So it's both physical and psychological, in the fact that physically it's there because of some kind of cochlear damage, but then it becomes a response that our brain comes to look for, and it becomes something that is kind of psychological too, because it's in the head as much as it is in the ear.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a phantom
perception.
Yeah.
You know, I relate it, and I use this example for a lot of my patients. Early on in my 20s, I noticed that I had floaters in my eyes, and I think a lot of people have floaters. And you look at a white space, and they're there, and you look at a dark space, and they kind of go away. And the same thing happens with tinnitus, in the fact that when you're in a very, very quiet environment and quiet room, that tinnitus is much more noticeable. But whenever you have other noises in the room that mask that sound, then that sound is not as noticeable. So there are ways of helping tinnitus that help the person habituate to that sound so that it's not noticeable. And using those floaters again as an example, I don't even think about those anymore, but when I first noticed them, it was so bad. I couldn't quit thinking about them. It was always there. It was always in my line of sight, but now I only see them when I think about it.
So if you have tinnitus and you deal with it and you find your ways to cope, does it get progressively worse if you don't do something to
Most
intervene?
of the time, no. It's usually the worst when you first notice it.
Okay.
Because you think, what is wrong with me? What is causing this? Do I have something really wrong with me?
Yeah.
You know, is it you don't think of it as an ear thing a lot of times. And so then once someone knows that, hey, this is just something, it's pretty common, it's something that you know, usually doesn't get worse. It usually gets better, if anything, because people habituate, but they have to find a way to kind of come to terms with it.
It doesn't get better in the sense that it goes away.
No.
Just your awareness of it lessens.
Yes, you become more habituated to it, to where it becomes a kind of a part of you, and you kind of like just can forget about it more.
So you mentioned that it's cochlear damage. What causes it? What types of things?
So noise can cause it. Hereditary hearing loss can cause it. There's medications that can cause it.
Really?
Things that cause damage to the inner ear, but there are also things that make it worse. So, you know, if people, anxiety makes it worse, depression makes it worse, stimulants can make it worse.
Well, I guess that makes sense, because I mean, where we keep coming back to is the brain connection to all of this. So of course your mood might impact it.
Yes. Yeah, and they found out, you know, years and years ago, as they were studying tinnitus, they tried cutting the auditory nerve so that the hearing organ wasn't involved anymore, and the people still had the tinnitus, which, you know, so it you know, it's a strong connection between the ear and the brain.
This is not the first time we've had this conversation, really. You've talked about it before. And I think, you know, you mentioned the different ways people can kind of approach it. There are lots of offerings, and you kind of have to find the one that works for you. Some people like a fan, some people prefer something different. Yeah,
I mean, anything from cognitive behavioral therapy, which is in form factors now very easy to, they're easily accessible because there's apps and there's things that people can do to help themselves with that, meditation, but there's sound therapies that really help. So things that mask that tinnitus sound. I mean, you know, again, hearing aids, helping that area that someone's audibility is poor. Those are usually the frequencies that people hear whenever they are noticing the tinnitus.
So if you have tinnitus and you're not currently wearing a hearing aid, do they necessarily go hand in hand? Or
it depends. So that's where a hearing test really becomes of diagnostic value in knowing whether it's fixable hearing that we can use a hearing aid for.
Are you seeing it hit younger and younger people?
It ranges from very, very young to very, it's everywhere.
Well, because we've talked before about the levels of music. You're big. You love to go to concerts, but you bring your earplugs with you.
Yes.
Because all it takes is one time.
Yeah,
to
it
damage
really
that
can.
hearing.
Yes, especially with really instantaneous sounds like a gunshot. It only takes one time.
Do people sometimes, as an effort to mask the noise of the tinnitus, will they turn the volume up on things? And if they do, is that a bad idea?
They can because they have poor hearing, so they can make that louder. And with a lot of the decibel ratings are controlled now, so that you can actually, like in an iPhone, you can go under your health,
right,
and you can set a limit. So yeah, it could be bad if you're turning it up to unsafe levels, but there's ways to monitor that.
Well, if you have not gotten a baseline hearing test, she highly recommends them beginning at what age? 50? Yeah, just because that way you know where you are, and should a problem arise in the future, she has something to base it on. 2 locations for Ahlberg Audiology. They're up in Cleveland, also in Athens. All of it at ahlbergaudiology.com, and there are the phone numbers for their respective offices. Great to see you.
Good to see you too.
Do not trust that insurance company after your car wreck. You could miss out on a lot of money.
Check out these big wins we've gotten for our clients.
After my car wreck, the insiders got me 7 times more than insurance was offering. That was a big win.
The insiders got me 12 times more than the insurance company.